Thanks to our friends at The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/ASYM for the top 10 stocks to buy right now. Tesla has been talking about the Robotaxi since at least 2016. But if you've been following the company, you know that there is no Robotaxi today. The company's full self-driving feature is a level 2 autonomy feature that needs to have a driver and somebody watching to correct if the vehicle makes a mistake. But there are companies that are making autonomous vehicles that will drive themselves, will come pick you up and take you to a destination just like a robotaxi. So if you're interested in robotaxis, don't look at Tesla. The company you should actually look at is General Motors. My name's Travis Hoyam. Thanks for watching Asymmetric Investing. Please subscribe here on YouTube for all my content. And I've got a deep dive on Cruise, General Motors' autonomy subsidiary, that I will link to in the show notes. I think this is a really interesting business, could be worth many multiples more than GM is worth today. So check that out. But I want to give you a highlight here. If you are not familiar with Cruise, this is the autonomous driving company that's been operating in the San Francisco area for a few years now. Worked through a number of steps with California regulators to get licensed for testing autonomous driving and then driving without a passenger, and now operating a commercial operations in the San Francisco area. It is now also extended that to Phoenix, Austin, and there will be 2 more cities in Texas added before the end of the summer. So this is an autonomous driving company that operates a lot like Uber, that's actually operational today. This isn't something that we need to talk about. This isn't being projected for the future. It's actually scaling up today. And the exciting advancement in 2023 is the company is already testing the Cruise Origin, which is a custom-made vehicle. It looks a little bit like a miniature bus that carries 4 passengers. There's no driver, there's no steering wheel, and that vehicle is already being tested on roads in San Francisco. It's going to be produced by General Motors and Honda. But the real upside for GM is that GM owns 80% of Cruise and really controls the company. Cruise CEO Kyle Voigt has started to appear on conference calls with investors, and GM CEO Mary Barra says that Cruise may generate $50 billion in by 2030. Now that may seem like a crazy number, but remember that Uber is generating about $100 billion in ride fares. It shares a majority of those, about 70%, with its drivers, and then keeps about 30% for itself. But the actual fares is about $100 billion right now. And so if Cruise can scale this business to more cities around the country, around the world, they have a deal with Dubai. We know they're already expanding in the US. That $50 billion number may not be as difficult to attain as you might think. And not only does Cruise get to keep 100% of the revenue because there's no money to share with drivers, these vehicles should be more cost effective than current taxis or ride sharing programs. The vehicles are custom made. GM has said that they will last about 1 million miles. They're electric and they can run 24 hours a day. It's going to be a while till we know the full economics of the vehicle or what the upfront cost is, but I think it's clear that a Cruise Origin vehicle should be far more cost effective than Uber is today, and that should allow them to price their rides a little bit more aggressively while still generating a really positive margin. The other company to keep in mind is Waymo. Waymo is one of the subsidiaries of Alphabet, one of those other bets that they made. They did actually make a recent partnership with Uber. So those 2 companies are now working together, but they're not going to launch anything in the US until later this year. And the hard thing to wrap my head around is how are they going to incorporate autonomous driving vehicles with the existing ride sharing model that Uber is operating? Right now, we know that Waymo is going to be operating separately, but how do you price those 2 things together? How do you get riders to choose whether they're going to have a human driver or an autonomous driver? It's very difficult to disrupt your core business with a new technology like this. It's what's called the innovator's dilemma. And that's something I think Uber is going to face trying to get in autonomous driving. But if you're interested in this space, that's absolutely the other company to watch. I'll also mention Zoox, which is owned by Amazon. They have similar technology to Cruise and Waymo, but it's not as clear what their business model is going to be or whether they're going to be doing ride sharing services like these 2 other companies. So if you're interested in robotaxis, I recommend that you look primarily at Cruise and as a result, General Motors stock. The great thing from an investment standpoint is GM is worth about the 10th of the value of Tesla. So if they actually get this autonomous driving Cruise service right, they have tremendous upside. Whereas with Tesla, you're actually paying for a service that doesn't exist and has only been talked about for 7 years now. That's, I think, the number one company to watch with robotaxis. The other one is Uber and Waymo, how their partnership plays out. And the third would be Amazon with Zoox. Let me know what you think about the future of this market, future of robotaxis. Don't forget to subscribe to Asymmetric Investing. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you here next time.